midst of digital transformation era. The Minister who opened the session this morning already mentioned that the usage of ICT is actually Sinatullah. It's a means. We cannot avoid it. It's already embedded in all aspects of our life. And Isi also mentioned that data is actually a foundation of recovery. So could I get my slide, please? Okay, next. Okay, next. So the usage of ICT has already been mandated by our President. Next. So during the Archive Day last year, President Jokowi mentioned in the opening of the event, back belum kembali. Okay, so for the National Archive of Indonesia to leave the old days, such as inefficient archive management, slow access to retrieve, distributed storage, not centralized. So President asked the National Archive of Indonesia to use new ways to take advantage of digital technology. And nowadays it is already mandated by the Ministry of State Aparatur Digitalization and Bureaucratic Reform that for the dynamic archive, all government agencies in Indonesia must use the same application called Srikandi. Okay, by that regulation, now we can move towards the data standardization. We can move forward to the archive metadata, etc. for better integration. When you have the integration of the archive, then it will be better for coordination, etc. So it's already mandated by the government of Indonesia, so that all the government agencies in Indonesia must use the same application for the dynamic archive of Srikandi. So also the President of Indonesia also mandated us to innovate at special topics such as if you visit National Archive, you can find our museum on presidential history, and also for this one for the disaster, etc. Next. Okay, so there are several use cases of using the ICT for the disaster archive. Nisi already mentioned some of them, and also Alfie mentioned on the uses of knowledge management to capture tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. And same approach has already been used by the Oman National Archive, where they actually ask some of their elders to come. Sometimes they go to the elders and then record some of their wisdom and then put it in video, same as what Alfie did with the Smong, etc. And you can see how Smong, part of the traditional culture in Aceh province, has saved so many lives during the tsunami. So use case one is actually the one that being done by the Columbia Climate School National Center for Disaster Preparedness. They have the archive since 2010 to 2020 from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill to the COVID-19 pandemic, and then you can just visit nced.columbia.edu. Next. Next use case is actually Japan, where we can learn a lot about how Japan handled the earthquake and also recent tsunamis. And speaking of disaster, Indonesia is just like the supermarket of disaster. You can name all disaster. You all have it, from flood, volcano eruption, tornado, tsunami, forest fire, etc. So there are so many disasters event here in Indonesia, and it will be better if, let's say, we can record it, we can document it, and then we can also archive them. So Japan, they have what they call Japan Disaster Digital Archive, but this is not the only one. You can see that Nisi-san also got so many initiatives in her activities. So you can just simply visit gdarchive.org, and then next. Now this is Indonesia. So we have the agency named the National Disaster Management Agency. Agency or BNPB, and they have what we call Portal Literasi Sejarah Bencana. So you can just simply click sejarah.dibI. Data DIBI stands for Data dan Informasi Bencana Indonesia, so it's Data and Information of Indonesia Disasters. .bnpb, BNPB is actually the name of the agency, .go.id. And then if you visit that website, there are so many collections, not only video, but also statistics and also posters, etc. on the disaster event in Indonesia. And there is also a video like they describe what we call kentongan. Kentongan is just like traditional things that we use when we want to tell the community that there will be disasters, etc. Okay, if you look deeper on the Indonesia Disaster Data and Information, next, they have complete statistics of disasters in Indonesia and put it on the map. So you can see on the screen, there are statistics on how many times it happened, on what year, and they have recorded not only during the 21st century, where some of the archive is actually digitally formed, but they also have recorded disasters since 19th century. And you know that there are so many big disasters in Indonesia. Long time ago, as already mentioned by Alfie as well, in 1907 there was a tsunami here, and the elderly of the Aceh people know about that, and then created the traditional culture Hmong to save the future generation. Now, same way, now let's discuss how can we use and take advantage the digital technology, so that we can record, we can document, we can archive past events, and then we can learn from each other under the name of Sarbika, so that we can learn from others, and then we can get better prepared for the event or disaster event in the future. So if you look at on this screen, from Indonesia Disaster Data and Information, we can see all the statistics information throughout regions in Indonesia, from Sumatra to Papua, and by using these digital features, it can easily expand it if we want to talk about ASEAN region. So from that information, we can have many infographics. Next slide. So this is just an example of their infographic information, like disasters in 2018, disasters in Indonesia during 2019, disasters in Indonesia during 2020, disasters in Indonesia during 2021, and by using all this kind of information, our leaders can make better decisions, because their decisions are actually based on evidence, based on data, and not just based on instinct. Next one is that our government also has released what they call master plan on the disaster management. So it's already part of the presidential decree, and in the regulation, it manages how all stakeholders, not only government agencies, but also people from academia, but also people from media, also communities, and all parts of stakeholders of the disasters can coordinate and cooperate. I know that it is easy to mention, but it is difficult to implement. But at least we have what we call the master plan for disaster management. Unfortunately, all still in Bahasa Indonesia. Now, in that master plan, there is a dream that we will make what we call integrated information services, one map, one data. Because what happened, usually when you become the leader of the country, and if there is any disaster event, when you ask from several or certain government agencies, sometimes they cannot come up with a single same data or information on how many people and how the disaster have already got impacted the people. When you ask the social agency, Dinas Sosial, they come up with number let's say 100, and when you ask agency could come up with 1,000, etc. So by using the policy, one map, one data, it is expected that the leaders of the region can get one nearly accurate data, so that by using that information, the leaders can make more correct decision to manage or to handle the disaster. And it is also a dream to have what we call integrated disaster literacy, because what happened is that, as you know that a couple of weeks ago there was earthquake in West Java province, and there was also volcano eruption in East Java province. So there were already 3 to 4 disasters already for the past few weeks, and as you can see that not many people has already got literacy on how or what to do when there is a disaster. And we know that Japan has done a tremendous effort on how to educate and how to literate children in Japan. When there is any earthquake, simply down on the table, etc. So that kind of thing we need to educate people, but the question is how. Because what happens is that we need to shape. Our elderly used to have what we call the oral tradition, and Pak Alif has already tried to move the oral tradition to become digital oral tradition by creating the video. Another way is actually to create what we call writing tradition. But nowadays, young generation, they have moved from oral tradition, from writing tradition to screen culture. So the question is how to present the literacy of the disaster into the mobile device, into the gadget. So by using that kind of thing, they can learn how to manage what to do if there is any earthquake, what should we do if there is any tsunami, what should we do if there is any flood, disasters, etc. So that kind of thing, we need to put it, we need to insert to what young generation now use, which is actually the gadget. The next is actually the information transparency. Next slide. Okay, so speaking of the disaster literacy, there are several regional initiatives, and I only mentioned one here, but as you know that NISI has already got several initiatives, but one thing that I directly involved actually from the UNFTC ICT. United stands for United Nations Asia Pacific Center for ICT Training, located in Seoul. It's about 15 minutes from Incheon International Airport, South Korea. So what they did is actually they create an academy on the ICT essentials for government leaders. There are several modules. Most of them has already been translated into Bahasa Indonesia by me and my team. Module 9 is actually to talk about how to use the ICT for disaster risk management. So in that module, we talk about we need to introduce what is the meaning of disaster risk management, the information needs in disaster situation, and how can we use the ICT, the technology, for disaster mitigation, for disaster preparedness, for disaster response and relief, for recovery and reconstruction, and by providing what we call risk assessment tools and how to build regional and international network. Because what happens when there is a big event or big disaster like tsunami Aceh, certainly we cannot leave the country to handle it alone. It is time for us to cooperate, it is time for us to coordinate, but the question is how other countries can get better data, better information, so that they know what to bring and they know what to do to help the country who got disasters. So this module has already been translated into Bahasa Indonesia, and there is also e-learning facility for that. Now challenges, next slide. What happened in Indonesia, we still have what we call digital divide. Unlike Japan and Korea, with nearly 100 fiber optic connection, most of the internet users in Indonesia are still dominated in Java Island 55%, Sumatra Island 21%, but we still have what we call digital divide in Borneo, Kalimantan, in Bali, Nusa Tenggara, and also Papua, and also Sulawesi. So that's what happened. But fortunately, some of the local governments, next slide, has already built what they call command center. Now it is time to use command center is not just for prestige. When the leaders of the country come and then they show the command center, but how they can use the command center for disaster relief, complete with all the ICT technology. Next. Indonesia has already also built what we call Palaparing. It's 150,000 kilometers fiber optic spanning from Sabang to Merauke. So it is hoped that maybe only next year or next 2 years, all regions in Indonesia will get at least 3 megabits per second internet bandwidth. So that what we call with the ICT disaster literacy, we can also bring it to the mobile of the to the gadget of the young generations by using this kind of facilities. Next slide. That's it. Thank you very much. I give it back to the moderator.
Thank you, Professor Yudo.